Well, had to check the calendar. It is Tuesday. It's a good Tuesday morning to all y'all. It is the 14th of October. Not one of those days we pay a whole lot of attention to, just no holidays attached to it. Nothing special about the 14th of October, right? In fact, I could find nothing about this date that I first studied in history classes. Not anything. Just another day. Perhaps it was because certain events on this date did not mean so much to our teachers even 60 plus years ago. Sometimes looking at historical events that did not get much attention proves to be kind of interesting. I'll talk about that in a minute. Good morning, y'all. I'm Rayford Brown. That's your cue, Tim.
Oh, mine? I'm Tim the Donkey Man Thomas in the house.
Good morning, I'm Lee Barrows.
It's my cue. I'm awake.
Tim is sitting just a little bit to my left, and then there's Lee on the other side, about 180 out.
Yeah.
I'm always on the out.
Most of us know the name Erwin Rommel. You've heard of that man? Erwin Rommel, though you may not have ever heard his first name before. General Rommel.
General Rommel.
A.K.A. the Desert Fox.
Yep.
As he was called, a brilliant, calculating German general who, at the beginning of World War II, was given command of the troops that guarded Hitler's headquarters, a disappointment for such a man who had served during World War I, and he was accustomed to fighting on the front lines with the infantry. But in early 1940, he was given his chance to put those abilities and his gifts to good use when he was given command of the 7th Panzer Division. That's how we remember Rommel the best, right? The tank man. Rommel was given control of the troops sent to North Africa to aid Germany's ailing ally, Italy. And Italy was having problems maintaining its position in Libya. It's here in the deserts of North Africa that Rommel earned his vaunted reputation as a fearless warrior. Near the end of the war, Hitler sent him to northern France to guard against an Allied invasion. You remember that big old invasion coming at the end of the war, right? We studied that in school, right? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
The
I don't remember that.
Stuff. You don't remember the D-Day? You don't remember studying the D-Day stuff?
Oh, I remember that, but
that was the end of the
this
war.
Ronald is.
Well, he began to lose confidence in Hitler. Rommel did not particularly care for Hitler anymore. He said there's just no real way, based upon Hitler's desires and his real way, that we can beat the Allied forces that we know are going to come ashore. He was right. Then along comes D-Day, the invasion, a disaster for Germany and its leader. Hitler got word of an assassination plot, including Rommel's contact with the conspirators. Rommel was in touch with those people who were going to assassinate Hitler. Recovering from injuries he suffered in an attack in his caravan, had a British group fly over on this date, the 14th of October. The year was 1944. Rommel was visited at his home by two generals who offered him a choice: trial or suicide. Rommel told his wife and son what was going on and that he had chosen to take the cyanide capsules the generals had provided. The German government gave Rommel a state funeral. His death was attributed to war wounds. That's a story I don't recall anything about. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
I find it interesting.
It is interesting.
Also on this date, the year was 1947, 3 years after Rommel did himself in. Something a little more pleasant, thank goodness. Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager became the first person to fly faster than the speed of sound. Yeager, born in West Virginia in 1923, was a combat fighter during World War II, flew 64 missions over Europe. He shot down 13 German planes and was himself shot down over France, but he escaped capture with the assistance of the French underground. After the war, he was among several volunteers chosen to test fly the experimental X-1 rocket plane. I remember seeing this on TV, years later, about the X-1 this and the X-1 that, built by. How are you feeling?
Wasn't me.
That was you.
Yeah. Fighting fire.
You sound kind of horsey this morning. Built by the Bell Aircraft Company to explore the possibility of supersonic flight. How would you like to be the first person? Because the word was, you break the sound barrier and your plane is going to fall apart. How would you like to be the first person to dispel that, to prove that that was not right? Well, he flew the X-1 over Rogers Dry Lake. How can you have a dry lake in Southern California? Oh, yeah. Out there near neck of the woods.
Yeah.
They got one.
Campbell's Lake.
The X-1 was lifted to an altitude of 25,000 feet by a B-29 aircraft and then released through the Bombay, rocketing to 40,000 feet and exceeding 662 miles per hour. That was the sound barrier at that altitude. The rocket plane, nicknamed Glamorous Glennis. Want to know why it was named Glennis?
Why?
That was his wife's name. Was designed with thin, unswept wings and a streamlined fuselage modeled after a 50 caliber bullet. Reports of the flight leaked to the press in December 1947, but because of the secrecy of the project, Bell and Yeager's achievement was not officially confirmed until June 1948. They waited for my birthday. Yeager retired as a brigadier general in 1975 and passed away at the age of 97 on Pearl Harbor Day in 2020. Feel smarter now? Bring you up to some history.
Yep. In fact, some of his
It's
footage,
pretty cool.
some of the footage of him flying that rocket was on when you saw the $6 Million Man.
Mm.
That
Oh.
was actually, I like that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
according to the history part, some of that footage.
All right.
I studied on. I looked at a character last night that I really have always been a big fan of. That was George Kennedy,
Oh,
the actor.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's
I
a
like
great
him.
actor.
and I didn't know it, but he served under George Patton in the tank
I didn't
corps.
know that.
Yeah, I read that last night.
I
Did he
remember
drive the
that.
tank or he was one of the.
It didn't say, but he served under, and it said General George Patton. And then when he got out, and he had some wounds, and he got out, and then re-enlisted later on again. He had a total of 15 years
Really?
in the armed services, and he got out and pursued acting. And but yeah, I mean, I'm always been a huge George Kennedy. It's just he did like a lot of the rest of them when he got older. He did comedy. I mean, he was in the Airplane and other comedy
Oh, yeah. I
movies,
remember
but
that.
he was a
Clever dude.
great Western actor. I mean, I
Yes.
loved him in his Westerns. That was my favorite. Of course, I'm a Western nut anyway.
Yeah, you
But
are.
yeah,
Well,
that's
half
just-
of that.
yeah, I am. Well, I do own a horse and a jackass.
But
But
but Western
got
is we're in
qualifications.
the Eastern. You're talking about the Western.
well, the Western had to start in the East because that's where they come from.
Phillies then.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
moved their way west.
Yeah, they were.
Found a horse.
Found the horse,
Mhm.
took a horse with him.
Mhm.
But I study a lot of that Western stuff, and I study a lot about the Western actors and stuff. It's something I enjoy to do. But yeah, I came across George Kennedy last night. And I just read up on it. It was fantastic when it said he served under General George Patton, and he was a lot of times he was consultants on the war movies.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Okay.
sure that he
Oh,
was
yeah.
valuable.
Yeah.
I would imagine that either Patton and even the Longest Day, he would have been a great resource.
Well, I used to work when I was a farmhand. I worked for a guy named Stacy Hubb and his uncle. We called him Uncle Buddy, and his name was Roland Turner. He was and he talked about it. He was in General Patton's tank corps.
Really?
Yeah, and he talked like he was something else. And
Right after the Longest Day movie had come out and everybody was watching, going to the theaters to see it. We did too. I did. And there came an article in the Wilmington newspaper, because that's where my parents were from, or my dad was from there. My mom moved there. And they lived in the Seagate community, and that was the family home area. And there was a guy in the neighborhood that turns out the Star News did this, Wilmington Morning Star, it was called then, did a story about him after the movie came out. Remember Red Buttons in that movie?
yeah,
Buttons is the guy that during the airdrop, the paradrop, right? He is the one that got caught up on the church's steeple.
yeah,
And the Germans were down below going through shooting people and stuff like that. And he played dead.
Yeah.
Don't know. I can't remember what the article said about that, but he was that man. He
Yes,
was
sir.
a real life guy right there from Wilmington, or Seagate outside Wilmington. And I remember the Germans with their little burp guns came by, they fired across, supposedly hit him in his feet, but he never moved.
Right.
He wouldn't move. So anyway, I don't know, remember whether that part was true or not, but my parents knew his family. Everybody seemed to know him at the time, but he apparently was like so many others, especially during World War II. They didn't talk about it.
No.
If they were there, they didn't talk about it.
Interesting. You brought up rockets a little earlier, and I just wanted to throw in there that last night, Elon Musk's Starship from Texas, it landed in the Indian Ocean, which was all part of the test. But
Was it supposed to keep going?
no, they're testing it, and this was another successful test that they had last night. But it was really cool watching it go up, and it separates from the rocket base, and the rocket base lands, and then the ship itself, the Starship, it goes out so far, and then they bring it back down. But this was just another test, and they're getting more and more advanced in their tests, and they're hoping eventually this upgraded prototype that they're doing is really the vehicle that could take humans to the moon and Mars. So they're really hoping they could do that. And then if you waited just a little while longer, you got to watch Project Kuiper, which is Amazon's spaceship. And what that does, it went up last night and it released a bunch of satellites into the orbit. So now Amazon's in on putting satellites up into the orbit, just like Elon is. And pretty soon you'll be able to get internet from Amazon.
Well, did they deliver the satellite where they wanted it to be?
Yeah, it's
Most
really
times-
cool when it goes up there and it
Went
gets
to the wrong address.
Yeah.
when it gets up there and it actually releases. You can watch them slide out different angles, and they're all controlled by down here, but it releases satellites
They're controlled
into
by fake intelligence.
well, let me
Watch
tell
out.
you, I'm seriously
Coming to a
thinking about
backyard near you.
I'm seriously thinking about getting a Starlink because it'll work wherever you take it. Not like you can pick up your internet from the house and take it anywhere you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But Starlink, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper now with the Project Kuiper through Amazon putting satellites up there for internet.
Check the speed on them.
It's going to put in a lot of bid wars here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the club, the amateur radio club, we bought one
yes, I knew that.
this past winter sometime,
Right,
and we put it into use for field day
right,
because at the location where we are, it's like what we call a Faraday shield. It's got
right,
all is metal,
right.
top, roof, bottom, sides. You can't get stuff in or out of there.
Mhm.
So we've got a satellite dish, a Starlink, and all we do is put the little dish outside and
Right.
lay it on the ground or wherever you want to put it. It doesn't have to be up there 100 feet up. It's just, satellite signal comes out. And all of us inside, we had 6 different stations operating, everybody on their cell phones who couldn't talk to anybody from inside
Yeah.
on their cell phones. They could switch it over to cellular.
Yes.
And we all of us, I don't know, there are probably 20 or 30 connections at one time, any given time, hooked up to that, receiving and sending data.
It's
So-
really cool to watch when they launch these rockets and when it goes through, burning through the atmosphere and then separating, and then the rocket booster itself coming back down. Usually they'll land it on a ship that's
Yeah.
called I Do Love You is the name of the ship. I don't know why, but
I'm sorry, excuse me.
it comes back down and it lands perfectly. It's so cool to watch it all.
It's just amazing the last 60 years how technology has gone,
Oh,
because
most definitely.
60 years ago, we'll just say 50 years ago, you had a 4-party line you had a 2-party line just on the telephone.
Yeah.
And now,
yeah,
you
my
got it
sister used to
anyway.
love to listen into the teenagers
Oh,
down the
God,
street.
yeah. Hey, honey, you
No.
you buy me that dress.
What's
we'll go
awful
out.
if you were ever on a party line,
Yeah, we were.
tried to tell the telephone company, I need to come off of that party line. Give me somebody old who doesn't like telephones.
Right.
Because don't give me a line with 2 teenage girls living in that house.
Right.
Because they're on the phone 24/7.
And long distance was
Yeah.
so expensive.
Oh,
Remember, you
God.
couldn't even call Bill.
Yeah.
Well, Mama said, I need to call Uncle Jay. She said, that's long distance.
Yeah, right down the street.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. it's 15
Swansboro was
minutes
long
away.
distance.
Yeah.
Yes,
Richlands,
I remember
Holly Ridge,
that.
Sneeze Ferry, all of those places
You had to
were long
dial
distance.
one.
Well, before you could do direct dialing,
Yeah.
you had to dial 0, get the operator to come on the line.
I
and
don't
then you
remember.
made a
That's a
call.
little bit before my time.
You don't remember
Yeah,
that?
Mine
I
too.
don't.
Oh my God! And if you
We
want
ain't
to,
old as dirt, right?
and you can make a collect call.
Yeah.
You know, but make a collect call, and then they would mute you so you couldn't get your message through while they
Right.
were asking the person to accept your
Will
call
you
or not.
accept this number? Will you accept this call? And you can hear Mom in the background. Yeah, I will. And then all of a sudden, okay.
Unless it was from the jail.
Yeah, I didn't have to.
Did you ever
do
get
that.
any collect calls from the jail?
No, sir.
I did. Used to.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I never did.
Yeah,
I didn't.
there were people that call from the jail. One, I'm in jail again. Can you come get me? Nope.
Hey.
You got there. Get on home. Best way you
The
can.
only remember my Uncle Monroe called my daddy one time, and he was in jail, Dupin County. Ain't Ron, you ain't hung at me. That's the way he talked. Ain't hung at me. He said, you stay right there, buddy, till I get there, okay? And this was about midnight. And Daddy went right back to bed.
So 7:00, 3 days later.
Yeah.
Well, the furthest I can remember back when it comes to telephones is that black phone rotary dial.
Yeah.
And I know my
Yeah.
daddy must have brought it home from his job because it was like a government issued.
The
phone.
handheld weighed about 10 pounds.
Yes, yes. And then eventually they came out with longer cords that you could replace
Well,
it
that
with.
was they
That
called that
was
the kitchen phone. Remember?
Technology.
No, you had to have the telephone man come to replace the cords originally.
Yeah.
That you could not open up the phone. They wouldn't let you.
No.
It was violation.
Now I'm talking about the cord where you plug into the base and then you plug
Yeah,
into
There
the.
was no plug into the base.
Back then,
They
you
had-
had
I don't
3
remember that
wires.
from back
Yeah.
the
You had-
telephone company would not allow you to do anything on the phone.
But I remember what Tim's talking about. You had the 20-foot cord
Yep.
Yep.
on the one hanging on the wall in the kitchen.
Yep.
And you could walk all around the living room and
No, you-
strangle everybody at the same
But
time.
over a period of time, that cord got shorter and shorter
Yeah.
because it got tied in knots.
Yes.
And then you could
Yes.
spend an hour and a half. How that comes?
Unraveling
I
it.
think it was girls. Because they
Girls.
always sit there and they twiddle their hair like this wintertime or stuff.
They twiddle
And
the
then
phone.
that same thing, they twisted their
They would
telephone lines the
twist the
same way.
telephone.
Right?
Yes, they would.
See, we got you.
I remember
don't
that.
even have a comeback for that one.
Of course you do. There's no defense on it. It's right.
Y'all be sitting there talking to your boyfriend. Come on, baby. And the twist was going on the 45. Chubby checker the twist.
Dude,
Checking the marine
just-
forecast out to 20 nautical miles today. Small craft advisory remains in effect through Friday afternoon. Offshore today, northerly winds 15 to 25 knots. Seas 4 to 6, 2 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers choppy. Tomorrow, northerly winds 15 to 20 with gust up to 25. Seas 4 to 6, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers still choppy. Thursday, northerly winds 15 to 20, gust to 25, seas 4 to 6, 2 to 4, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers, guess what? They be
Calm.
choppy. God,
I'm hoping for calm.
hope. all
I'm
you want.
hoping for calm.
One day.
Today, expect some patchy drizzle this afternoon. Cloudy with a high near 66. North winds 7 to 11 miles per hour with gusts as high as 18. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 57. Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high near 76. And Thursday, sunny with a high near 70. Loving the fall weathers.
Looking around the county. And, when I first started checking this stuff at 5:30 this morning, not a whole lot of the ham radio club members are up this morning. What is
Sleeping.
going on?
Sleeping
Did somebody take a
Sleeping
sleeping
in.
pill, or we got a meeting tonight? Maybe they're just resting up and getting ready for the meeting. Okay, out there at River Bend, that's the bend in the river going up the New River.
Yep. Few of them.
Dale says it's 67 degrees there. Winds are light 1 to 2. He had 0 rain, his rain gauge. Onslow Bay this morning, 57 degrees. Onslow Bay is a subdivision down there off River not river, Rocky Run Road. And it said it's 57 degrees, 89% relative humidity. And Lady Blue, over in Woodlands, which is in Northwoods, 56 degrees, 90% humidity at the time. Wind, there are none. It was calm at the time. 0.05 inches of rain in the gauge. And here at the studio, at the time, it was 54 degrees. It's now 53. The humidity started out at 96 or 95, worked its way to 96. It's now 97% humidity. Take a guess what's going to happen. And the wind, there was no wind early this morning. Now it's kicking up there 2 to 3 miles per hour out of the southwest.
Windstorm.
Yeah.
I was just
0.04 inches of rain in our rain gauge.
I do have to tell you, Rayford, I will be bringing my big seat Friday night to the stadium. The one
Is it going to be cold?
it's going to be cold
I got to
because
charge some batteries up, don't I?
yeah, Friday night Friday we're looking at a high near 70 with temperatures dropping to 47. Oh, that's just like mine.
Yours has got this stuff on the back?
Yes.
Huh. I didn't think
Except
yours
mine, I think mine just says Cards on the front. Yours says Jacksonville Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yes.
You don't need to be wearing the mesh. You don't have enough hair for it. Because you will get sunburnt with a mesh hat.
No, those are nice hats.
I know, yeah, they're great.
Did you get a new shirt too?
There's not
Yay.
any sun at night.
You may need to wear it in the daytime.
Well, I've got special daytime hats.
Okay.
Quick, today, if you're one of those Charlie Kirk fans, today is National Red Day for Charlie Kirk. It's his birthday. So you'll see a lot of red today of people honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. I ordered some of his shirts like a month ago, but I got an email the other day. They said that due to the overwhelming demand, it's going to take a while. So I just had to dig out a regular red shirt today. So
Talk about a moving experience. Yesterday, I was watching
my
the
gosh.
TV. Several former hostages held by the terrorist group Hamas were being reunited on camera with their families after spending 2 years not knowing if each day was going to be their last. These are the thoughts that were going through my mind when I was watching this. In one case, the sheer excitement of family members when their loved one walked through the door was overwhelming. A young girl, perhaps her brother, she looked to be maybe a teenager, 14, 15, something like that. She could only jump up and down. She just started hopping and hopping. So excited she couldn't stand it. Just looked like my puppy dog, and we know how Shockwave gets when he gets excited, just bouncing up and down, so excited, greeting his owner after a day at work. That's what the puppy dog does. The excitement was contagious. I wanted to jump for joy too. The agony of the hostage during those 2 years, the thrill, the relief of being home, hopefully safe. I'm sure that's what he's thinking. I'm sure that last night was a restless night. I can't imagine being held captive for a little bit over 2 years by a group of thugs that you knew were killing people, because they killed a whole lot of the hostages. Don't tell me they died natural deaths, people. I know better. I can't imagine what was going through their heads during those 2 years. I can't not imagine it. Even during wars, except Vietnam, and some cases World War II with the Japanese, you knew the captors were going to keep you like prisoners of war. They abided by the Geneva Convention and everything else. The Viet Cong, they didn't do that. The Japanese quite often did not do that. They tortured you. The naysayers, the anti-Israel faction that despises Benjamin Netanyahu and the soldiers that have fought to keep those who vowed to kill all Israelis. I can't understand these people and their anti-Semitic feelings. If it wasn't for the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, and an associate of mine, a friend of mine, had fought with the IDF back in the 70s. He lives in Carteret County. I cannot imagine for the leaders that believe in Israel, the terrorists would have killed more Israelis at the direction of countries like Iran. If it wasn't for the IDF, if it wasn't for the Netanyahu and the soldiers, there would not be an Israel.
Right.
The terrorists would have taken over. They would have won. And they didn't do it, but terrorists are hired killers. They're hired. They're mercenaries.
Well, somebody's got to fund them. They can't do it on their own.
Yeah, they had plenty of arms, didn't they?
Yep.
Came
And
from somewhere, didn't they?
I always say, you cut the head of the snake off, the body's going to die. Find the head.
Try to find a head.
Yep.
I hope that peace will prevail, but I'm not optimistic. Perhaps if peace in the past, all those periods that we had of peace in this region, they were always short-lived. Maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 5, could be 10. War in the region is inevitable. Israel does not have a lot of allies. The United States is the exception.
Yeah.
Except for the anti-Trump folks, President Trump is being given a lot of credit for organizing the talks that, if nothing else, has seen the release of all of the still living hostages that Hamas had taken. The remains of a number of others who somehow died in captivity will be returned sooner or later. The only concern I have is a promise that Netanyahu made more than 2 years ago, that he would lead Israeli forces on operations to rid all of Gaza from Hamas and any other terrorist like Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm.
That's his goal. That was his goal 2 years ago, and that's the statement that he made. He's not a man, himself a warrior. He's not a man to be taken lightly. He made the statement. We don't know. Headlines yesterday seemed to surprise a lot of people, not me. Former president, a Democrat and husband of the notorious Hillary Clinton, praised Trump for his efforts in negotiating what we hope will become a peace between Hamas and Israel. He said the president and regional partners deserve great credit. Those are his words, for keeping negotiations on track. Clinton added that with support from the United States, the region, and the world, Israel and Hamas must try to turn what he termed a fragile moment into lasting peace that provides the dignity and security of both Palestinians and Israelis. It's time to suck it up. Don't give them an inch,
Right.
but don't go taking an inch of theirs. Now, if only Clinton and Trump could combine forces to get the legislators in this country to work together to get the country started again, it would be a wonderful thing.
Well, I don't know if you saw Hillary put out a video statement yesterday
don't pay
giving the
attention.
president kudos also,
Yeah.
which
That
I'm
was-
glad to see that.
That was just watch out for the back.
You reckon,
Well,
you reckon this because he didn't throw her in jail?
Maybe she's,
Memories?
I don't know, but I'm taking it for what it was. She
I take
put
it
out
for what
a
I suspect her of doing.
kudos.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll catch you off guard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be sarcastic again. Remind those legislators that we're already 2 weeks into the next fiscal year, meaning they're already behind in preparing for the October 2026 budget deadline.
Yep.
They haven't even met this one, and they're 2 weeks late today, officially 2 weeks. And I'm halfway to my next anniversary of my birth, effective today, exactly 6 months out.
Well, I was watching on the news where the guy said we all we need is 5 Democrats to come across and get the country open again. And they were pleading.
And
All we need is 5.
And all the Democrats are saying, if the
No.
stupid Republicans will get off the pot and just approve this stuff and go along with it, we can get this country rolling.
Well,
again.
it's like Kennedy said.
It'll all work out.
It's like Kennedy, but he brings out them lists, and you got to laugh at him. He says, "Yeah," said if we could send I forget how many millions of dollars over to some country for circumcision.
Yep.
She would vote for it. I said, "Oh my God!" And he was sitting there holding it and just see that. I'm telling you, that's just how crazy people are. And he's right. But if it was true,
We've wasted a lot of money over the years.
Yeah.
Well, we're continuing 14 days and counting.
Yeah.
And for people not doing a job that they're paid to do, they're being paid to not do the job that they're paid to do. They are being paid to not do the job they're paid to do. It's no fault of theirs. Don't get me wrong, folks. I feel for you. I'm sure you would much rather be getting your pay as you go along. If I was a federal employee, one of the non-essential federal employees, I would be planning for next year already. That money that I'm going to get a windfall on, I would take as much of it as I could afford to take and bank it.
Yep. You better.
And count on using it next year.
So I give about Diane. That's what she always did. She always did. When they had to cut off, she had enough savings.
What's the area code?
252. Oh, that's our congressman.
Poor Lee this morning. She was good thing she was in the post office and not the
Good
telephone company.
morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Doctor. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lee was looking straight at your number. I don't know who this is.
I should have known. I mean,
I still got them Democrats out there at the farm, though, Doc. So
Yeah, we got one of our frequent callers and frequent and a rabid listener.
You could call it that.
Tim Thomas is joining us again this morning, Doctor, and he's the one who raises four-legged jackasses.
Yeah.
You deal with two-legged ones.
Yeah, I told him one time, I said I raise Democrats, and they're true Democrats because they stand at the gate wanting a handout.
can I just start off saying one thing?
Yeah.
No, this is a compliment for our congressman.
Uh-oh. Watch out, Congress.
Last week I was on your town hall, and I don't know how you do it, but kudos to you for maintaining decorum with some of those callers, because some of those callers were some of the rudest people I have ever heard. But our congressman held the line, and he did a great job. And kudos to you for that.
Wow.
Well, you're very, very kind. It's funny. The folks who go on their merry way on social media, I don't really look at that stuff. Every once in a while I'll glance. But the ones who just attack are oftentimes just the nastiest people.
Yeah.
They're just the nastiest people. And there were a couple callers that were just downright nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna be rolled over. There's no damn way in hell of that.
There you go.
But I'm also just going to try to kill them with kindness. And the facts are always on our side. We may not agree sometimes, but we can agree to disagree. That's one thing Charlie Kirk was so good at. But there was one person who was from California. Said she was from the region and still here, but live in California. I probably should have just hung up on her because that was probably. But I don't do that. And so anyway, bless their hearts. This is one thing that, as you well noticed, it's not like we just take Republican calls. There are plenty of dissenting calls the whole time. So anyway, thank you for listening.
Well, and thanks for doing that too. And it's like you have said, and all good people who are elected to office will say that I was elected by whoever, but I don't represent just the people who voted for me, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, me, unaffiliated, or, just people that didn't even vote. You still have to represent the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting. That's actually a very good point, because one listener actually asked that. How do you represent people who have differing views? Well, you represent them by listening, and heck, perhaps I learned something, and that's great. But then again, I'm elected by the people of my party. That's who put me into line. Those are generally the views that I have. If there's something that another person of a differing opinion will make a good case for, hey, yeah, right. Here's the hard part, and this is what folks just don't understand. I didn't really understand this before I got in politics. When it comes to voting, there's no maybe button, okay? You can, a lot of people sometimes, I can understand this, and I can understand that point of view, this, that, and the other stuff. But when you press the button, It's 100% one side or another.
Yep.
There's not a 55%. There's not a 45%. And if you're 51% one way and 49% the other way, when you push the button, it's 100% one way.
That's it.
So, yeah, it's just, it's I think a very salient point to make. So
It is very good. Now, what, Sam Hill, you going to do about this budget? You've got, I mean, you're already 2 weeks late getting started for next year's budget. So what are you going to do now?
You need to talk him off the
well, this
ledge.
is a challenge. This is a challenge because here we are. We literally asked the government to be funded 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, just like it was on a Tuesday. We did that 13 times during the Biden administration. And as Pelosi has said, as Schumer has said, even Barack Obama in 2013 said, there's no policy that should be put in these CRs. They should be just from the government and then let us do debate policy like we always have. But no, they're so damn freaking hypocrites that they're so afraid of their progressive left. You know, Schumer's just afraid of the bartender in New York. That's the genesis of all of this.
Yep.
And so, so, you know, they're just so damn hypocrites. And it's very interesting how they just try to back out of when they're called upon it. So,
is there, there's got to be light somewhere at the end of the tunnel. I hope it's not a train coming on, but I hope you've got something that you guys are working on that can work.
I don't know. Here it is. We're basically the Democrats are holding the country hostage. They're picking this, quote, healthcare issue. They're trying literally $1.5 trillion in spending. They're literally trying to reverse everything that Republicans have done in the last 8 months. They're basically saying the election didn't matter, their needs matter, and they're going to hold the country hostage for it. You know, going back and, you know, it's pointed out circumcision somewhere. By the way, you know, the whole purpose for that is to decrease the incidence of HIV. So we have to spend less money paying for HIV over there. That's one thing. But still, those are all nonsense. The DEI funding, the transgender parade somewhere. I mean, give me a damn break. But again, it's basically trying to say the results of the 2024 election didn't matter. And they pick healthcare because that's the most emotional topic to really hone on. They're looking about these renewing the premium tax credits, which, by the way, guys, are basically just subsidies for insurance company profits.
Yeah.
That's what the whole Obamacare was. Go, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Go and Google and look at insurance company profits since 2014. Okay? And look at how they skyrocketed. And guess what mirrors that same skyrocketing slope? Premiums. So the premiums didn't go down. The premiums just got more and more. And guess what got more and more also? Insurance company profits.
So
the insurance industry in cahoots with the Democrats.
So the insurance industry, they build in profits only in the insurance rate increases, and nothing to do with the cost of doing business, right?
Well, you know, they're supposed to be by law. The ACA says 80%, only 80% has to go to patient care. Another 15% for, quote, administrative costs, and another 5% for profit. 15% administrative cost is where they fudge. And they fudge and push out with vertical integration because these insurance companies own these things called pharmacy benefit managers. The CVS Caremark, the Express Scripts. These are all owned by insurance companies, and they divert their prescriptions, your prescriptions, to their PBMs, the insurance company's PBMs, to basically double dip the profits. So it's an absolute scam. And the whole thing was written, but essentially by insurance companies for insurance companies. So, you know, I've been going back and forth with Mark Cuban on X on this. He's just poorly informed, just like I, you know, had to correct our Governor Stein yesterday on one of the local news channels. He's misinformed about what's going on. So, yeah. So I may not know much about much, but I know a little bit about healthcare.
Yeah, I would think so. I would definitely think so. You have to deal with it every day for years and years and years now.
Yep.
Okay, so what are we looking at as far as any forward-thinking movements? How is this going to play out? Any clue?
So the Democrats are staging one of their No Kings rallies, okay? One of these basically protests against the country, and let them have it, because you're going to see Palestinian flags, you're going to see American flags being stomped on. Let them have it. Let them show that. And probably after that, when is that? That's going to be
Yes.
not quite sure. Maybe they'll actually start. But, you know, as Chuck Schumer said, as people are in the government are not being paid, we're winning every day, or we're getting better every day. And then one Democratic operative said, we're going to keep doing this until planes fall out of the sky.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, what an asinine comment to make.
Really?
So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
So he's willing to kill people. He's no problem lining up the body bags so that you can keep doing it. Oh, okay. Who said that?
Yeah, well, it was a Democratic staff person.
Oh,
So, I mean, yeah, it just shows the mantra of what's going on there. So
yeah. Well,
these are the people we have to deal with.
these people have never been to a plane crash. I have.
Well, they've just never lived in the real world either. A lot of them have lived in, you know, academia or in ivory towers that just have never had to deal with the reality of the real world.
Yeah. I've been to plane crashes, helicopter crashes, or just with the body still there.
Did y'all see that helicopter crash? That was horrible.
That was
like
crazy.
they were lucky, to be honest with you.
I know.
Oh my God!
I counted on a full everything going to be all souls lost, but they
Yeah.
all lived. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
Palm
that
trees
was
saved
amazing.
them.
Yeah. I'm gonna plant some palm trees.
That was amazing.
And they had another plane crash yesterday on I-195. It was a privately owned small plane with a couple in it, and it went down on the interstate.
It was
It
a
was-
controlled crash, right?
It was crazy.
That's what they
You know, they say I wanted to maybe get my pilot's license, and they say the worst pilots are doctors, and even worse than that are surgeons.
Oh God,
Because
double dipping.
well, because in the middle of an operation, if something changes or goes wrong, well, all right, well, we'll figure it out. And the only problem is when you're in the plane trying to figure it out, you're dealing with something called gravity.
Yes.
You can't change the circumstances then. And so physicians are not very good pilots. So I'll stay away from there. I'll just be commercial as always.
60 years of diving underwater. I've never had gravity have a major impact on me. When there's a problem, I just come up. If I'm in an airplane, I got a limited amount of time to figure out how to fix this to overcome gravity. You don't have much time.
Yeah.
I just don't care about flying.
I don't want to fly, but I have to from time to time. Not any helicopters anymore. I hope I've had the last flight in those. Just don't do it.
Wow.
You were mentioning
That's
health.
where we are.
Well, you were mentioning healthcare a while ago, Doc. I'm a new recipient of Medicare,
God
and
bless you.
well, I went to all my doctors, and I asked them about Medicare Part B. And you know what? The funny thing is, every one of them told me, "Get it, do what it pays better than any other insurance out there. It pays on time." And I mean, they just praised it. So, hey, I said, okay. So I put in for it. But what kills me is I'm getting letters and phone calls about supplements. And now I have one certain drug that I worry about. And if I don't have the right drug plan, it's going to cost me $600 a month. And so I'm shopping, and it just tickles me about these people coming out of the woodwork wanting to get me some insurance. But it just amazes me.
This is an issue. Now, you said Medicare Part B.
Yes, sir.
And then C is the Medicare Advantage plans, and then D is the drug insurance plans.
Yes, sir.
Let me talk about C, the Medicare Advantage plans, because this is a real bone of contention with me. These were started, I believe, with an idea. It was a Republican program to help control costs. Medicare Advantage was supposed to be 75% of the cost of fee-for-service medicine. However, guess what? When you get insurance company executives and you get CFOs, and they're saying, how can we squeeze more and more money out of the government?
Yeah.
Instead of being 95% of fee-for-service, they now cost 122% of fee-for-service.
Right.
How? These insurance companies, and I'll pick on United because they're the worst offender of all of them, they go out and then send these nurses into homes to do health assessments.
Yep.
It was again a good idea. It was like a good idea. Say, hey, what's going on in your home? How can we make you healthy? How can we prevent you from going to the hospital or even going to the doctor? But what they've done is they make people who are much sicker than they are, and then give them diagnoses that have no clinical relevance whatsoever, meaning that they'll diagnose somebody with something, but it doesn't require treatment. It doesn't require intervention, but then they get to charge the government more because they say the person is sicker. I can give you examples upon examples of 5 very good Wall Street Journal articles that expose these companies for upcoding. And then they basically bastardized the system. And then, on the other hand, if you go see a physician and you have Medicare Advantage, they don't pay squat to the people actually providing the care. So they're the ones that get the benefits. They're the ones that get the profits. They're the ones who pay their CEO tens of millions, 70 millions of dollars in benefits, and they screw the people who are actually providing the care. So I'm not a fan of Medicare Advantage until we've absolutely reformed the system.
Well, that's what my doctors. I mean, I wouldn't give you names, but every one of my doctors said basically the same thing you just said about the Advantage plan. And I had one tell me, he said, there's just too much government control in it. He said, I really don't recommend it. I said, okay. And I can go to where I work at and I can get a drug plan. And I even looked at it, and the drug that I'm talking about is called Glixambi. And my copay, if I took my insurance, which cost me $75 a week, and I can use it as a supplement, which will be around $300 a month. And I know I can get it cheaper than that because I have been told. But it would cost me $60 copay. Now, right now, I'm on Blue Cross Blue Shield Federal. It's $35. I couldn't stay on it because my wife had retired. Before then, if she'd have been actively working, it's what killed me. When I first signed up, I only signed up for A, and I was using my wife's insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield Federal. So you don't need B. 3 weeks later, Social Security Administration calls me and says, you cannot use that insurance because your wife has retired. So it does not fit the criteria anymore.
No.
I'm sorry.
The plans that are out there, and I was offered. I wasn't offered. The company was insisting we'll have a nurse come by to do a welfare check, a health check, or this check. And I said, no, I see a doctor for that. I pay my doctor to go do that. And said, no, we'll do this. It won't cost you anything. I said, yes, it'll cost me something because I'm going to pay taxes for it, right? Where do you get your money? If I don't pay you for it, where do you get your money? Well, the government pays for it. That's the problem. The government doesn't have any money. They take my money and then they give it to you. Yep. So I said, so I'm refusing your offer. Done. Don't call me again. And you guys can do the same thing.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea in theory, but the problem is they've abused their privilege of providing health care, of providing health insurance, not health care. By basically cheating, lying. I had the chief medical officer of a very, very large insurance company come in, and we had a debate. This was a year and a half ago, I guess. And he was a retired emergency room physician. And we went back and forth, and I pointed out all these things that were wrong. And his response to me is, we're nothing illegal. Those were his words.
There you go.
Oh, there.
And I don't give any more details because I know everybody knows which company I'm talking about. We're not doing anything illegal, and that just literally, frankly, pissed me off.
Yeah, it makes me mad every day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, Congressman,
they're getting away with murder.
How much longer do you anticipate this government shutdown? That's everybody's number one
I
question.
don't know anywhere. I don't know any end in sight, frankly, because they're just, Obama and the speaker, who I just, I think he's a great speaker. What happened to McCarthy was wrong because it was Matt Gaetz that going after him because Matt Gaetz wanted McCarthy to bury the whole ethics probe about him and, doing all the bad things he did. And McCarthy wouldn't do it, so Gaetz went after him. But that said, I believe we have a speaker that is an excellent man. He's smart, and I think he's doing a great job. But he had a press conference yesterday, brought up the fact that Obama said in 2013, when the Republicans were doing the same type of shenanigans, said, look, you don't shut down a government over policy. This should be just a simple, we should be funding the government and then let us have the policy discussions. So Obama himself said these things.
Yeah.
So again, it's just the height of hypocrisy of what we're seeing. I don't know when this happens. I continue to do the congressional work in the district and other stuff. It's not like I'm just not in D.C., but there's plenty of work for me to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I saw you up on the outer banks of the houses going down, going in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They got lucky. To my knowledge, there weren't any houses that fell in with the nor'easter.
No, not this time. So I think that it all gone down.
There's a few hanging on.
No. There are at least 10 that are in the water.
Yes.
Sitting in the water in Buxton.
Wow.
Sitting in the water, and then another 30 that are at severe risk.
Yes.
If you ever get a chance, and I know you don't have a whole lot of time, pick up the book, The Dynamic Zone by Dr. Orrin Pilkey out of Duke from the 1970s, I think it was. It's a great book about the North Carolina shoreline.
Yeah.
Well, if you look 100,000 years ago, the shoreline was 30 miles offshore.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It is a barrier island. It is kind of like, it was explained to me, the barrier islands are very similar to tracks on a tractor or tracks on a train. The bottom moves and the top moves over.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just in constant cycle.
Yep.
And, look, we're spending millions upon millions upon millions to preserve beaches. And they're the most wonderful beaches, I think, we have in the country. Buxton was renourished twice in a freak storm. They had 200 feet of beach last summer. Freak storm just made all this happen.
Yeah.
They're due to renourish again. Ocracoke out there on the north part of the island, from driving from the north part to the town of Ocracoke, overwashed Highway 12 multiple. It overwashes every single time there's a bad storm. This is just hard to face and fight Mother Nature.
That's why you have four-wheel drive vehicles. First of all, I've spent a lot of time in the Wilmington area. That's where I worked for 30 years. Masonboro Island, between Carolina Beach and Wrightsville Beach, is a barrier island. There's nothing on it. There are no shacks on it. There's no building on it. There's nothing. That island shifts back and forth, cycles from one season of the year to another. Sand comes off the front, is deposited on the back. The backside grows, the front side depletes. Then the change of seasons and the conditions that as the sand comes off the back, goes back around to the front and replaces it, replenishes it. Man does not have any say in that. The only time you will ever notice the difference if you put a structure out there in the surf zone. What becomes the surf zone? If we just stay away from that, we'll be fine. I don't let the islands shift in, let the islands shift out. Nobody will ever notice unless you put something there.
Yeah. Well, Pilkey's argument was that we should never build on barrier islands. Well, yeah, in a purist world, yeah. But you know what? God give us a wonderful earth to enjoy, and that's what we're doing. And it's a huge source of revenue for the state. All these people that come down and spend their money. It's just a challenge. Certain parts of the beaches are much more metabolically active than other parts of the beaches.
I think that was the point in some interviews that I did with them. The point was, everything's going to shift, but there are some places that it's really known as the dynamic zone, and one of them was the Fort Fisher area. Oh my God, they had to move the road a couple of times, move a monument once. Look at Cape Hatteras. They had to move the lighthouse. I was up there for that before it was moved, and then again after it moved. We got to get a little bit smarter. Yes, we need to have and be able to enjoy those beaches, but hopefully that they won't put it so bad that we have to spend too much money to keep them replenished that we can't afford to enjoy them. So that's my 2 cents
worth. It's a challenge.
It is
definitely a challenge.
You got to marry it some way or the other, but so all sides benefit. What are your plans now? Are you up in well, I guess you're probably back at home in Greenville now, or no? You're still in Washington, aren't you?
I'm heading up to DC just to do some work. A lot of folks to meet with, but I've been doing a lot of constituent work also. So
good.
No means twiddling my thumbs. I promise.
Yeah. Well, when in the neighborhood, stop by.
Most definitely.
Will do.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Will do.
appreciate you.
Hopefully, you've heard about the district issues.
Oh, yes.
I won't dive any further about that.
I was just looking at the beginning stages of it. I guess the GOP is trying to read and maybe add another district, an additional district in North Carolina. Whatever. Have you seen any preliminary plans?
No, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do.
I think they're mainly going after. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think they're mainly going after one district in particular, and that's the first district, realign that because it's a majority of minorities in that district. And I think they're looking to revamp all that. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this. It's going to be a mess.
Always will be.
As long as they leave the third alone. I'm tired of them messing with the third.
Well, we'll just see what happens.
Yes, we'll see.
Okay, so if I decide that I would like to run for Congress, so I don't have to live.
I'll pay your fee.
No. I don't have to live in the district that I file for. I can live here in Onslow County, and I can file for something up. Is there a weak county somewhere up in the northwest, somewhere out that way that I might be able to stand a chance of getting elected?
Cold Mountain.
You mean in North Carolina?
Yeah. You don't have to. You don't have to actually live in the district to run for it.
Yeah, no, I can. You could run against Tim Moore, the former speaker. That'd be an easy race. Run against Brad Knott in Raleigh. That'd be an easier race. These are all friends of mine. I give them a hard time. Run against Brad Knott. I would not run against Pat Harrigan. Pat Harrigan's a former Green Beret.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
And be careful.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I would have had my experience with. Well, anyway.
I see there's a few that have announced who are running against you. A few people have announced.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. I think you're okay.
Anyway, yeah, you'll be fine.
The more the merrier.
You'll be fine.
All right, Doctor, thank you.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great time.
Thank you.
Take it
Thanks
easy.
for all y'all do.
You take care,
You
sir.
too.
I like talking with him. He talks with us like he's just talking with normal people, and we're less than normal.
I think back
He's my favorite.
to many years ago when he first threw his hat in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 15, 16 people. This is when Walter B. Jones had passed away.
Yeah.
And the position was open, and there was
Wide
about
open.
15, 16 people had jumped in. And that's when I first met Greg. And he's quite vocal compared to what he was back then.
First, I had met him on the telephone.
Yes.
He called in, and we did an interview with him. I did an interview with him years and years and years ago during that time. What was that, 2018 or something, 16? I don't remember.
Oh,
But anyway, I had done that, and I said, what are you doing this weekend? And he said, I don't know. I'm going to be in the district, of course. I'm running for election. So I said, well, I'm going to be at the boat show, whatever it is. It wasn't a seafood festival, some kind of an event in Morehead City. And I was doing a remote there. I was going to set up on the waterfront to do a remote.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm going to be there on the waterfront. I'd love to meet you if you happen to be in the area. Well, suddenly, and I had never seen a photograph of him. Okay. So I didn't know what he looked like. And this gentleman walks up and he's kind of staring at us and looking. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And this is on live, right?
Mhm.
And so he said, "Yeah." And he says, I'm Greg Murphy. Doctor, sit down, have a seat. Because I didn't know what he looked like. And we always had people staring at us. I was always checking to be sure didn't have any wardrobe malfunctions. But
Trying to
you know how
figure
that
out
is.
what you were.
2019.
Okay, it's somewhere back there.
Yeah.
Anywho, that was and we had a great conversation. So it worked out well. And a lot of folks gathered around as soon as they could see, because I had a little speaker out there. People could hear what we were saying.
He's a great guy.
I do
Love his
enjoy
wife. Love his wife.
I met her.
Yeah. And then I guess you weird Republicans had one of those events out there at the government center. Y'all had the candidates.
Oh yes.
That year.
I was just looking for that picture. That was interesting. We had a candidate
And they all asked me, an unaffiliated person, to be the moderator.
No, this was back in 2019.
Yeah.
I don't recall it. I was chairman at the time. I didn't ask you then.
Somebody asked me. 'Cause
Somebody might have,
I was the
but-
moderator.
But I'm trying to think who we had moderating that year. I don't remember right off the bat, but we had a full house, and it was interesting. We didn't have all the candidates there, but we had most of them.
It was one of them people that had submitted questions, and whoever the group was, I think it was the GOP
It was the
sponsored.
GOP that did
But
it.
anyway, we got a list of questions here that we will give you. And I said, do I get to ask any? Well, what do you want to ask? I said, I don't know yet. Something may pop up. I may want to ask a question. Well, you can do that.
Yeah, the one in 2019, that was a candidate forum that we had, and we had it at the government center. And I was just trying to find, I have pictures of that, pictures of it all. But that was interesting. That was when they were running to fill the vacancy. And then we ended up in a redo when Greg won the primary, the Republican primary, and what was the person's name in Kinston?
The female?
No, it was a male. I think he used to be sheriff, or he was, I want to say Scott. I can't remember his name right now. But he won the Democratic side. And then when we went to vote on it, it was so close they had to have a runoff.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting out there every day for 2 weeks at the Board of Elections for the Republican side and for the runoff. And I believe that was Jason Dedman's first year
Oh, boy.
as director. I mean, everything was happening
Poor guy.
between the hurricane and then the big runoff. And it was crazy that year.
Let's go north of the border
North of that.
to Virginia. How,
The communist state.
y'all explain to me, how can the Virginia school system be so embroiled in controversy over this transgender stuff? It's embarrassing to have the state that has seen more presidents born there than any other state to have such ridiculous issues. How many presidents were born in Virginia? Anybody have any idea?
Lord, I couldn't tell you.
Well, I looked it up. 8.
Okay.
The Northern Virginia transgender bathroom saga notched another controversy Friday with the release of emails from Arlington County, Virginia, schools regarding correspondence board members received from serial sex offender Richard Kenneth Cox. The 58-year-old Cox was thrust into the national spotlight after Virginia's Fairfax County Democratic prosecutor declined to prosecute him for charges of perversion in women's locker rooms, while neighboring Arlington County arrested him in 2024 on the same charges. One county's DA said, no, we're not going to prosecute him over here in this county. Fairfax. That's up there near D.C.
Yep.
We're not going to prosecute him. But the folks in Arlington County, they had him show up there. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, the Republican gubernatorial nominee, blasted reports that Cox, who identified himself as a transgender woman named Ricky in emails to the, that's R-I-K-I, by the way,
Yeah.
to the Arlington school system regarding concerns about using facilities at its semi-public aquatic center, was able to prey on young girls in the Washington suburbs. The lieutenant governor said the child predator repeatedly used a girl's locker room and exposed himself to young girls. The Arlington school system has no problem allowing perverts like Ricky to use facilities of whatever sex the pervert chooses to identify with. Transgenders are not required to be surgically altered to resemble the sex they choose. They just have to identify as a woman or a male if they're a woman. In Ricky's case, the 58-year-old has, you've seen this picture lately, shaggy hair, mostly bald on top, with a pronounced beard. But it can say it feels like a woman and expose the non-surgically modified parts to young girls in their locker room. Now, I'm thinking, going back 60 years or so, I'm reasonably sure that the guys in my class would have assisted such a pervert in achieving a partial surgical procedure had this occurred at Jacksonville High School. Looking back, I can think of at least 2 of my female classmates who might have performed the procedures themselves. Refer back to Dolly Parton. Gonna make a hen out of that rooster.
Yeah.
Loretta.
One shot.
Loretta.
There you go.
One shot.
I cannot imagine. I just cannot imagine the picture that I saw. Now, I have seen a surgically prepared person that was a guy, actually was one of the Bond girls at one time. Its female name became Tula, T-U-L-A. She was in a Bond movie. It came out after she was in the Bond movie. This British actress that she was had been born a male. When I saw Tula had just gotten married. I did not know who Tula was. I think she was surprised. She was lying on the beach in Jamaica with her then brand new husband, a guy named David. I won't give you his last name, but they were living in Atlanta. Because I had a chat with them.
Good place for them.
Because as I walk by, I'm carrying a big camera, not a little tiny delicate camera, not even my 35 millimeter stuff. I was carrying a big Hasselblad shooting stock photos of things. I couldn't shoot people without getting their permission because I couldn't use it if I did. But she and David were there on the beach. Sans clothing. Sans is French meaning without. They were naked on the beach in Jamaica.
Gosh.
Well, naked means you got no clothes on and you up to something.
No,
Yeah,
not
naked.
in their case.
Naked.
They were just lying there soaking up
Yeah,
the sun's
they were
rays.
naked.
So along with lots of other people, it turns out,
Yeah.
a lot of people did that. Anywho,
For those people that like to do that.
Tula raised up and said, "Hey, you've got to watch them. Can you tell me what time it is?" And I said, "Sure." And I told her, "Okay, thank you." And then we had just a brief chat. They told me they were there on their honeymoon. I get back to Wilmington, North Carolina, and on that show what was the female? They talked about stars and stuff and Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she was featured with photos of her in Jamaica with clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
She and her husband, David, they went to a lot of the places there in the grill where I had been. And I like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm. I saw
I
her naked.
do have a picture of the 2 of them that I asked their permission to take. Standing hand in hand with their backs to me, shooting them into the sun, silhouetted. And that's what I got. I still have that photograph.
Well, you should.
Y'all want to buy it?
Were you the one that took the pictures of Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau
No,
on her yacht,
no,
hugging and having a little bit of personal time?
no. I don't do that. I'm not.
Not
I'm
that I care about it, but
I'm
I
not
just
a paparazzi.
I have one question. Does that now make him an astronaut?
Fly? No.
Girl.
Come fly with me.
A 13-year-old is accused of stealing several guns from a home. Did you hear the age?
13.
13.
From a home they broke into, he, she, whatever, broke into in Craven County. Deputies found the thief with a pistol in the waistband walking down the road.
Wow.
They later discovered that the kid had broken into a home nearby and had stolen a bunch of guns. Deputies found the stolen guns and took the burglar into custody at that time. What's the backstory here? That's all that's been released. That's all that's been put out there. So I got questions, of course. I wonder if the kid was friends with another kid at that home. That's the one. That's a distinct possibility the way things work. Be careful if you have guns or you have drugs in your medicine cabinet or whatever you got, it is of value, and your kid inviting kids that you don't know anything about from families that you know nothing about into your home. Okay? Another question about, did the home belong to a relative? Was the kid in and out of there? Another question. Was this part of some sort of initiation? Was an older person involved in setting up the break-in? Or did this 13-year-old do it on his or her own? Likely questions that won't be answered because of the kid's age, I will tell you that. They may ask, but they won't be answered. And unless he has a juvenile record already, his punishment is likely to be naught. Final question. What's going on at this kid's home? What's the lifestyle in the home where he or she lives? Can't blame it on the parents because you just never really know. The kid may have been an absolute perfect angel and got suckered into something by some idiot somewhere. Those are the things that you got to be concerned. It's not always the family's lifestyle. Kids are, well, kids at 13, male or female. They really need to get out of the home, quit school, get a job while they still know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that age, they know everything. If you don't believe it, I know. Let me tell you about that. No, I know all about it. I know.
You can't get them to work no more.
No.
Nobody.
Local news, the fair opens today.
I saw a funnel cake truck headed there yesterday.
Did you really?
I didn't follow it because I've never had a funnel cake.
We're going to get you a
No,
funnel
you're not.
cake,
They're
yeah.
they're overrated.
There
What
are a
is
lot
it,
of,
just a sugar?
it's just a lot of sweet
It's
dough and
just
sugar.
flour and
Sweet
sugar.
dough.
Well, why do I want that?
I'm just saying this, to me, it's overrated.
Today is the chicken and rabbit showmanship shindig at the fair.
What? Back it up. Let's start it. Today is the
Opening
chicken and rabbit.
chicken and rabbit showmanship shindig
Shindig.
That's
at
going to be a
Onslow
heck of a.
County
That's going to be a
Fair.
heck of a gumbo.
Youth,
Chicken and rabbit.
stop. Youth aged 5 through 18 are invited to come show their chickens and rabbits.
How about if I feel like I'm a child aged 5 to 15?
Check-in time is 5 p.m.
Mhm.
Well, if you want, this does not constitute you taking in a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That will be
Can I take it out of the bucket and glue
Yeah,
it back
Rayford.
together?
Yeah.
Don't be doing that. But anyway, they
bones
open
count?
today. They open today. Make sure you wear a jacket because the highs will be in the 60s tonight, and a lot of fair food exhibits, rides. all at
Do
the
I get to
Onslow
take a
County
chicken home with me?
Fair. That's
Do those chickens
Rayford,
lay eggs?
You
don't
better
make this
stop by.
story difficult.
You might better stop by and get you a box or bucket.
Quit making
depending on
this
where you
story
go.
difficult. And
I don't think
this
they give 'em up.
morning at the government center in Jacksonville, the city government center is the first of the candidate forums. And this morning at 9:00, they start with candidates for Jacksonville
That's it.
City Council.
That's at City Hall.
At City
Government
Hall.
Center is,
City
y'all,
Hall.
on New Bridge Street.
Right. And then
It's the old
after
Belk store in the post office.
Old Bell store.
the Jacksonville City candidates, we will have the Swansboro Commissioner Forum. And then Thursday will be Holly Ridge, which I've got to go because have you been through Holly Ridge lately?
No.
There are some signs
I'm
up.
going through tomorrow unless I take out.
All right, well,
53 to
look
I-40.
for the signs because it's gotten really nasty there.
Has it?
There's a whole bunch of signs that have been put up that said, don't vote for the
Right.
Royal Circus.
Yeah.
And
Really?
it's all against,
It's all negative.
it's negative signs against one of the candidates, Dorothy Royal.
Dorothy.
And have you seen the signs? Do they have the picture of the circus or something on there?
No,
But I've heard-
A friend
I've
of mine
heard-
was telling me about it.
I've
Who,
heard,
who did this stuff? Juveniles?
no.
Who's in charge of that campaign?
I don't know for sure. All I know is what I've been seeing and reading but I cannot confirm who put the signs up. But it's gotten really kind of crazy in
Sounds
Holly
like the
Ridge.
whole town's circus.
Well, I don't know, but
And it just started. But yeah.
wow.
I wonder if Vital Signs can get me a couple signs made today because I got to go through there tomorrow.
What are your signs going to
Vote for
say?
me. I'm gonna put my.
You going to surprise us?
Yeah, I'm gonna put signs out there to vote for me.
Write you in?
Yeah.
Well, I just know that now there's signs.
I can park
And-
my boat there. It's got a not my boat. I saw on trailer. I could park it there with on the side of the road somewhere.
And we
I
had that
live there.
happen a couple of years ago here for when we had commissioner race. This is during one of the general elections, and the signs suddenly appeared in the traffic median along highways and stuff.
Yeah.
Denouncing several other commissioners that were running for reelection. Some really ugly things being said. Nobody claimed the signs. I understand there might have been a group one night, midnight, sneak out and remove some of the signs. Good for them.
I'm not going.
It's not necessary for all that. It's just not necessary.
I could put a sign or two up in there as I go through tomorrow. couldn't I?
Sure, why not? I
Right.
mean, people
Get-
putting crazy signs
Get
up.
permission from the landowner.
They'll put it on the state right away, so you can do
Well,
that
you
now.
can- Yeah.
Right. Well, yes, within so many days of the election, you're sure right. But is it necessary? I mean, you know what? Know your candidates, look them up, research them. If you have questions, call them, go see them, talk to them. But putting up these childish signs,
My sign will
it's
say,
ridiculous.
"Trust me, don't Google me.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, don't Google me.
Don't Google me. Trust."
That might
Use
be
the word. Trust me.
I know
Don't
this-
Google me. Vote for me.
Yeah, this is a knife shot, but that might be what to say when the county commissioner races start on one of them in particular.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
expect that one's going to be
I might campaign on that. I'm not going to
from
run.
some
But I got,
that I've heard may be running.
yeah.
That one's
That's
gonna
not this time.
No, when it comes back around next year.
We'll worry about
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
Then.
yes.
Well, I
It's
hadn't even realized
Could
it.
be interesting.
I saw a thing on my phone and it had Chris Thomas right there. And,
Yes.
Sure.
He's,
I said-
he's just filing.
Already?
just announcing.
and I said, look, and I said, well, it is
They file
2025.
in
ain't it?
December.
Yeah.
They file in December. So.
I don't think he would have a problem.
Nah.
Unless something bad happened, I wouldn't think. he
Oh,
would.
and in
I
reference
want to see who's
to
running against him.
the candidate forum that's going to be downtown at City Hall, you can watch that on G10 if you have Spectrum. And
Live.
if you don't, you can watch it through the Chamber of Commerce's Facebook page
Right.
live. You can watch it there. And if you miss it, you can go back later and watch
Yeah.
it. So,
Kinda like
on the
show.
Chamber's
You miss
page,
us,
so-
come back later. You'll see us.
yeah,
talking
that's right.
You were talking about chicken.
Gee,
Oh, let's
Chicken.
talk about chicken just
No,
a minute.
he's
I
gonna
went
get
to a
that.
family
dirty,
reunion.
dirty
Sunday.
birds.
Yeah.
Awesome chicken.
And I took chicken.
You took
I
chicken.
took chicken.
To a
Took me
family event?
to a family reunion.
Was it in a box?
Yeah.
Not
I
a
didn't even
bucket?
take it out of the box.
That's
Oh,
In the
best.
box.
I
And
love
I took Piggly Wiggly chicken.
Piggly Wiggly had good chicken.
And I went there we have a new listener, by the way. She's her name is Tracy Melton. I met
Hello,
her there,
Tracy.
and anyway, we had a reunion, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't know a soul there to start with, but it didn't take long to make friends. And I got ready to go, and I went over there to get the remainder of my box of chicken. Somebody stole my chicken.
They
What?
stole your box
My
of chicken?
chicken, and the box was gone, y'all. I mean, I said, well, these people
Maybe they were just cleaning up the box after they ate all the chicken.
I thought there was a few pieces left.
First of all, you walked away and left it?
Well, I sat
unattended?
down. Well, yeah, I'm not going to stand there while everybody's in. I'm not going to stand there and watch my chicken all day.
Well,
I
this
would
past
have.
weekend,
But they took my chicken.
folks, all of you folks out there who went there, if you got the last 2 pieces of chicken in that box, I know Timmy.
Yeah.
It was tainted.
No, it weren't.
It had something in it.
It was some good Peter
How are you
chicken.
If
feeling?
you spent hours in the bathroom after
How,
eating the
how,
chicken,
how are you feeling? We're going to know about it.
But it was great. I mean, Piggly Wiggly, and they had just fried it, and I was the first one to get 10 pieces. So it was hot, and it was good. I love Piggly Wiggly chicken
I
anyway.
would have gotten a separate order for myself
And I
kept
think,
it right there.
in fact, when I ate, I got me one myself. Sit down
Don't
and eat.
touch it.
But there was some great food at the reunion. It was
No.
called the Smith Hill Reunion. I was
Wait a minute.
Smithfield?
Smithfield reunion.
No, Smith Hill.
Oh, Smith Hill.
Yeah. A great reunion, had a great time. And I mean, I went in there and sat down, didn't know a soul. Didn't know no soul.
So you crashed it.
And I sat there by myself, and this lovely lady, her name's Tracy,
Mhm.
she came over there with her plate. She said, I just want to sit down, and who are you? And I told her my lineage, and she told me hers, and we got to talking, and the next thing, I got to telling stories. I got talking about the show. Next thing, there was 2 or 3 more sitting around. Next thing, and I had a crowd. I'm sitting there telling stories and this and that and the other, and I had a really great time.
That's
I mean,
wonderful.
I was sitting there, just as FOS as I could be, but I was having a good time. Think about it. FOS, full.
Of yourself.
No, not self, but we won't say the other one.
Close.
Close.
Full of self.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew
we'll-
what he
we'll
meant.
say
I
that.
knew what he meant.
But we had a fantastic time. I've never met that side of the Smith clan. And my mother was a Smith. She was from Turkey Branch and
So
Canada.
they just got out of prison?
Some of them, you could tell. And I talked to one particular guy, got ready to go, and he said, he said, you trim donkeys, huh? I said, yes, sir. Hey, so I got a Mammoth Jack. I said, you have a real Mammoth. Now, Mammoth Jack is a Mammoth donkey who's about 15, 16 hands out there, huge.
He's a mule.
And it's a donkey. And what we do with those Mammoth Jacks is we breed to draft horses, and we make what we call the draft mules. They're huge. And he was talking about it, and I said, well, how much you charge for stud fee? I hadn't done that. I said, well, let me explain something to you, Hoss. I said, you have a rare treat sitting in your,
You want to make some money?
and here's what you need, because he didn't have any idea. And talking about stud fee. He said, I've had people come over wanting to breed this. I said, they didn't want to pay you, did it? He said, no, they didn't want to pay. I said, let me tell you what set the price. You start out at $1,000 for stud fee, because look, there's very few around, especially these parts. And his wife's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. She said, are you serious?
That's
I
better
said,
than a
"Yeah."
hooker making a new
I'm
Orleans.
telling you, I said, you do not charge. Well, some guy wanted to borrow him. I said, here's one more rule. Never
loan him out.
let him leave your farm, because you don't know what they're going to do to him. So you tell them to bring the horse to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I enlightened the guy. He's a young guy. And I said, well, how did you
Where do I
wind
get
up
one
on-"
of these big old mammoth jackasses?
You can get them, but they're
besides
hard to
Congress.
find.
I was just going to say.
Besides Congress.
I had to
Yeah.
do it.
Well, I know
It was
Doris Sanders used to have one down in Bear Creek. I don't know if she still does or not. But he used to get out one
I got a fence back
Halloween.
here.
Yeah, one Halloween he got out, and this little small deputy sheriff, female deputy sheriff, I had just got home from the haunted hayride at Mike's Tree Farm because for all them years I was the ghost rider.
Oh,
And
you were the one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I get a phone call from the sheriff department. We have a mule loose on Bear Creek Road. So, okay. And I hadn't even unhooked my trailer. So I'm getting up. Then Kevin Brown, Animal Control, called me. We got a big mule down here directing traffic on Bear Creek Road. So I go down to Bear Creek Road, and I have not seen this deputy since. Sweet girl. And when I get there, there's a little white house on the side of the road. And I said, "Where's he at?" And he's right around the backside of that house. And I said, well, "Come on." So I took the flashlight and I looked at it. And when I looked, I said, "That's not a mule. That's a mammoth jack." And they're looking at me, and all of a sudden I holler, "Pedro!" His ears light right up. I said, "Come here, boy." And he just big. His hooves were that big. And you know him? Well, yeah, I've trimmed his hooves before. I mean, he's just as sweet as he can be. And I said, "Pedro, you want to go with me?" And I opened up the gate, I opened up the thing to the heart, put him right. I said, "Well, I know who owns him. I'll just carry him right." "Oh, no. You take him to your house. He's got out 3 times. And what happened, Gloria Sanders was out of the country. And the caretaker weren't caretaking like they should be. And he kept getting out. And I carried him home. And back then, I was contract for Onslow County Animal Control. So when they found out he was missing, they had called Animal Control. They had to go down there and pay a fine and pay the fee for me to go get him. And they went and got him. And when Gloria came back, she called me. And I went to her house. And I love Gloria Sanders. She's a great lady, great physical therapist. And I went back and I gave her my part of the money back.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't know if she still has him, but now Pedro, just as sweet as he could be, he's just huge. And but it's just mammoth jacks are rare, and they are very, very valuable. I must say that.
Let's take a look at the marine forecast. Out to 20 nautical miles today. Small craft advisory. Y'all take it under advice. There's a small craft advisory in effect through Friday afternoon. Northerly winds 15 to 25 knots today. Seas 4 to 6, 2 to 4 near shore, but you're not going to be able to get through the inlets real easy. If you got a big boat, go ahead and try it if you want to, if you have experience. You know better if you've got experience when you get there and look at it. Sounds and rivers choppy. Wednesday, northerly winds 15 to 20. Seas 4 to 6, 2 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers choppy. Wednesday, 15 to 20 knot winds again. Gust to 25. Seas 4 to 6, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers still choppy. And on Thursday, they're still going to be choppy. Northerly winds 15 to 20. Gust up to 25 knots. Seas 4 to 6.
Today, we will have patchy drizzle this afternoon. Cloudy with a high near 66. North wind 7 to 11 miles per hour with gusts as high as 18. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 57. Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high near 76. Thursday, sunny. Or 70. You know what? That you just blew up my headphone. I don't think it's working anymore. And Friday, if you're going to the ball game, bundle up.
Yeah, it's going to be.
What was? God.
It's going to be chilly Friday.
Chilly.
So,
Yes, it's going to be chilly Friday.
Could be chilly weather too.
And I understand we have a new named storm that we don't really need to worry about.
That one is, I
Lorenzo.
forgot what the name of it is. Lorenzo. That's right. Lorenzo is out there in the way yonder out there. And it's not going to even become a hurricane. It's moving, should be moving towards the north before the day's over. Then the northeast hard right in the next couple of days, and then she's going to get into cold water, and he's going to get into cold water. I like giving reports just like that.
Me too.
Cut to the. Don't bother spending 3 minutes talking about this one.
Unusual season, but I'm all here for it. I'm here for it.
I'm so glad.
Now, we need to go back to 1989, the hurricane season of 1989, and take a look-see at what happened in the fall of 1989. Why? Because in December of 1989, we had a huge, monstrous snowfall in this neck of the woods.
On Christmas.
all through the whole Christmas.
Very well.
Started 3 days before Christmas and 15 inches, 16, 17 inches of snow. Later in Wilmington,
Mhm.
I was shooting pictures of snowmen being built on the beach.
Mhm.
Actually, it was one guy, he and his teammates had built a anatomically correct snow woman.
Of course you would remember that.
Oh, why would I not?
I
The
could just
things-
imagine.
They were spending a lot of time out there. Put a bikini on it.
Mm-hmm.
When I think
A
it had built
bikini.
an atomic, it built a male snowman, I would probably remember that
Mhm.
too. So
Well, it was, you know,
You might would build one.
so much I could say here, and I'm
Wishful
yes.
thinking.
going to.
Yeah, which
Okie dokie. Wait, the state GOP thing. I'm still looking at that. They want to. The legislative leaders inside the Republican Party
Right?
in the state house, they plan to vote next week on redrawing the state's U.S. House district map.
Yes, they do.
According to WITN's report, which is from the Associated Press, their idea is to get another district created. We've got 14 now. We had 13 a couple of years ago. How many do we have?
I don't think it's 14. I don't think it's to create a new district.
That's
Necessarily.
what the GOP leadership is saying.
Not what I'm reading.
And they want to do it within already right-leaning boundaries.
Right.
Comes amid an emerging mid-decade battle nationally between Republicans and Democrats seeking advantage of the way U.S. House districts are drawn in several states for the 2026 season. They created a map in 2023 that resulted in GOP candidates winning 10 of the state's 14 U.S. House seats in 2024. The division compared to the 7-7 split between Democrats and the GOP under the map used in 2022. 14 House districts in North Carolina. In 2022, there was a 7-7. It was even. In 2024, with the redrawing of those district lines and the creation, well, the seat had already been created, the opening, it was split 10-4. Not only the state's House districts, the first district, currently represented by Democrat Representative Don Davis, considered a swing district and could be targeted by the Republicans for an 11th seat. I don't understand that wording. Does that mean that they would like to create another seat, another Republican from North Carolina?
From what I understand, you have 14 districts right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Don Davis services the first district.
Yes.
The first district is a majority of minorities. What the state legislature is looking at is shifting the counties once again.
To kick Davis to the curb because he's a
Basically,
Democrat.
that's what it's going to
He's a
do.
Democrat.
It's going to end up turning that district into a more favorable position.
Now let's
be a Republican from
let's
there.
go through and you explain to me and how the House districts are set up across the country. There are a certain number of House seats, right?
Right.
435.
Right.
No more, no less.
Right.
So there will still be 435. But if North Carolina gains another seat in Congress, that would mean we would be more powerful, but somebody's going to lose one.
What it means is, okay, right now.
Somebody's going to have to lose a seat if we gain one.
Yeah, what that means right now is putting, like I'm saying, House District 1 in North Carolina. It's going to, if they shift things about and kind of redo them all, it's going to more or less take that and put it in a favorable position more for a Republican to gain that seat. We're not creating a new district. What we're doing is shifting the districts so they're more favorable to be red as opposed to being blue.
It says that in all likelihood, when they make this shift, it will have to be redrawn to the point of it. And maybe some other districts that have to be redrawn as well.
That's what they'll do.
And it will end up creating another district, which we will then have 15 seats.
I see. I'm not reading that way. I'm reading it as if there is what they'll end up doing is you've got 14 seats U.S. House. Okay, what they're doing in the Republicans own 10 of them. So what they're doing by reshifting boundaries and changing the districts somewhat, it's going to put that one district, and I'm telling you, I believe they're targeting District 1. It's going to put that more prone into a district where the Republicans can win it versus the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's going to do is just shift more power to the Republican side. It's not creating a new district, but we'll see.
It would shift some of those that are currently in that district to a strong Republican district where their vote would not make any difference.
Well,
the voters are still there somewhere. They're going to have to vote somewhere.
They're still voting.
So if you move them into a strong Republican district, dilute their influence in the first district, right?
Right.
If you dilute their power in the first district,
right,
those now Democrats, their votes would be useless.
It's just like
and then you would take some of the others that they move around and put them in a very strong Republican district where their votes would not matter.
Well, let's go back to how this all started. This all started because President Trump called for red state legislatures to fix congressional maps before 2026. And Texas started it all the way to Missouri of changing their maps in order to give Republicans the edge. And so now North Carolina is huge when it comes to the presidential election. Mm-hmm. And what it's going to do is shift North Carolina more to
away from purple to blue to red.
Well, yeah, so to say. But see, GOP leaders are asking that they target Congressional District 1, a Democratic-held majority-minority district.
So is it cool to be able to just shift people around, counties around?
It's politics.
That's the way I understand that, but is it cool to do that just for political gain?
It's the way they do.
You're supposed to have, the districts are set up so that each district has a representative number of people, equal.
Right.
Throughout the country. Each district, a district in New York, contains approximately the same number of registered voters as a district, or potentially registered voters, registerable voters as a district in North Carolina. Their district in North Carolina is the same number of individuals as the whatever district in Virginia or New York or California. The area of those districts in heavily populated counties, states, is much smaller because there are more people living there.
Well, it's being rumored that Phil Berger, who is the Senate chair here in North Carolina, Senate president, is that he's pushing this in order to get President Trump's support when he runs. He's denied that, but North Carolina's current congressional map already favors heavily Republicans and is being challenged in court for alleged racial gerrymandering. And 10 Republicans and 4 Democrats represent the state in Congress. A new map would likely target Democratic Representative Don Davis' district in northeastern North Carolina. But all this was sent up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, we're not getting involved.
Yet, until the suit's brought out.
Right.
I understand why the Republican Party is wanting to do this. If I was a strong supporter of the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, I would be favoring it one way or the other. But being a normal person out here, a majority of either one of the two other parties. There are more of me than there are of either Republicans or Democrats. I don't understand why we just don't draw the district lines according to the number of bodies that live in that area. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
That's generally how they do it. Yes.
Yeah, but now we want to do it for political gain.
But the thing about it is, when you draw a line, okay, you could say, okay, we're going to take these 5 counties, that equals 5,000 voters. All right. But over here, when you draw these 5 counties to try to make them 5,000 voters, they may be all Democrats opposed to all these 5,000 up here that are Republicans. So what you need to do is take those 2 districts and split them and make them more even. But that's not the way it works. Former President Barack Obama, before we start getting the phone calls about how evil the Republicans are, and his Attorney General, Eric Holder, launched the National Democratic Redistricting Committee in 2017 ahead of the 2020 census. The goal was to organize aggressive state-by-state efforts to redraw maps in Democrats' favor. The front line of that fight has been in the courtrooms in places like North Carolina ever since.
Yep.
The fight continues after in 2023, the party called Obama back into action amid an emerging state-by-state battle for congressional seats. Now, I'm going to tell you, when the Democrats, if it comes to where they take back over control again, you'll see all this flip again.
Okay, now here's the situation. Now I got a question. I'm not accusing, but I'm
Right.
maybe. But my question: is there any way? Well, let me ask first. We do know that the census, they actually counted illegal aliens in the census. Is that correct?
I don't know. I've not.
The 2020 election, the big battle was whether they should count them or not.
Right.
And as I recall, maybe Steve or somebody will correct me, but as I recall, they came down to saying, yes, if they're living in the district, illegal or illegal, or in the country, illegal or illegal, we have to count them.
Those were the claims.
Now, if that is the case, then do they decide but when they draw lines, do they look at as in the beginning, did they look at them as Republicans and Democrats or whatever the parties were at the time, or did they look at them as a number of bodies, the souls in the county, in a district, for a district? They looked at them for the number of people. They did not look at them whether they were registered this or that, or even whether they voted. Do they draw district lines upon the number of voters, or do they draw district lines upon the number of people living in that area?
Everything factors into it, the number of people living in that.
No. They either have to draw a district. You got to have a certain number of people, or is it a certain number of registered voters? I don't know that.
A number of people, because it goes by the census.
So if it goes by the people, the number of bodies according to the census, this is what I'm saying, that they do not know whether they are legal, illegal, registered, or not registered. Correct? It doesn't matter. They go by the census.
That's right.
So then it becomes a party's decision, Democrat or Republican, to politicize this whole thing and to go and pick out the number of Republicans registered to vote. They don't care about the parties do not care about the unregistered people in an area, right? They don't care. They matter. They're zero. They don't count as far as they're concerned. I'm being realistic here. As a Republican GOP leader, or as a Democrat,
You're asking a question?
as a Democrat leader, it does not matter. It does matter to you guys whether they are registered to vote or not registered to vote, but it does not matter. You don't care about the unregistered voters, do you? The unregistered people in a county, in a district.
You should care, but the problem is when you're doing these maps, you have to go by who lives in the county, not by what party they are.
But when you do the map, if the Republicans are in charge as they are right now, you start going through and saying, we got to carve out these Democrats and put them over in a strong Republican area, and we got to take all these Democrats, which this county is kind of strong, and we're going to redraw those lines to include a bunch of Republicans in it, right?
Okay, let's just say, New Hanover is strictly blue. Say it's all blue.
Mm-hmm.
Onslow County is red. And you want to pull some of that blue away from that district that Onslow County and New Hanover is in.
And their borders don't even touch.
So you either split the counties or you bring other counties that are red into that area, so that helps dilute the blue.
That is done by the Democrat or Republican parties, right?
That's right.
I don't think they should be in charge of it. I think the census should still be in charge of it. You just carve out a map.
They use the census for it.
I understand. And in some cases, here's the problem. I do the devil's advocate thing.
Right,
here's the
right,
problem with that. If you do it strictly by the census, you may end up in a place that's got, let's just say, like Onslow County has, or the city of Jacksonville has right now.
Exactly.
You got a big chunk
Mm-hmm.
of Ward 1 where the people do not vote. They're not registered
right.
to vote in North Carolina.
But they have to be counted.
But they have to be counted.
Right,
So therefore, 125 votes get you a city council seat.
right. All right, here. New map proposed for 2026. In October 2025, Republican legislative leaders announced plans to vote on a new congressional map aimed at securing an 11-3 Republican majority. So there'll still be 14 districts. It's all in how it was worded on those news articles. This effort was reportedly prompted by a call from former President Donald Trump for state legislators to redraw maps to benefit the Republican Party. We'll see. If you've ever watched them redistrict in the maps, you can actually watch that online live. It's a job. There's so many factors.
I'll give you this group of people. You give me that group of people. Do we have a consensus here? All in favor? I can hear it now.
Yeah. I just
I could plant my garden with just the sheer air of what goes on in these sessions.
well, back a couple of years ago when they
Never have to
redistricted,
fertilize it.
they took Pitt County and they split it in half. And the half of the county that Greg Murphy was living in was not included in the 3rd district.
Mhm.
So he ran for 3rd district, but didn't actually live in it at the
Which you
time.
can do.
But they went back and swapped it all back out to where all of Pitt County is in the 3rd district now. But they took some of the top counties that were in the 3rd district and moved them over to another district, the 1st district. So and at one time, they had plans of moving us in with New Hanover. And I was like, oh, please don't. Please don't.
Well, we probably would countermand a lot of the crap in New Hanover County.
Yeah, but,
If it was the whole county, but they won't do the whole county that way.
I mean, they use the census, they use the population, but it's more than just that. You don't want to be fair.
No,
Fair is a 4-letter word.
it sure is. I don't even like it.
I used to have to, so to say, redistrict or redo city mail routes in rural routes. And you have to
Did
take
you do that
into...
based on race?
No, I did that based on
political affiliation.
the people that live there, the number of miles, the number of boxes, all sorts of stuff, which is really just a far cry, just nothing compared to what they do in redistricting for the seats.
Yeah, it
But,
sounds fair and responsible.
but the thing about it is, you're just going to have to wait and see when they start this. There's going to be arguments, there's going to be challenges, but the thing about it is, the House, the North Carolina House, and the North Carolina Senate is Republican controlled.
Right now.
So they still, I mean, they are. And
Right
even
now.
even if things are voted on after this election and they stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the control right now. And that's just the way
Somebody's
it
going to
is.
have to tell me who can explain to me why it sounds legitimate. 2 things. 1, to include all of the illegals who happen to, somebody allowed them to be counted in the census, which I think they should be, but I think they should be a separate. And I do not think that the illegals who cannot vote, if they are not eligible to vote, they should not be counted when you set up a district, because you may have 90% illegals in some counties, some areas. You know that. It could be not that high, but it could be that many. If all of the illegals, 18 million of them, got together and were strategically placed, not by accident, in certain areas of this country, they could control a lot of districts in this country.
Yeah.
Yay or nay? Yep.
It's a very complicated issue, and it's has to do with a lot with power control and in your power plays. And
You're in Jacksonville.
all right, where would you put Ward 1?
Just like Ward 1 right here in
Right.
Jacksonville has a very small number of people who vote. It has a large group of people who can vote.
That's
It's
right.
the same size, Ward 1, as Northwoods is, as
That's
far
right.
as the number of people
Yes.
eligible to vote.
Right.
The number of people eligible to vote does not count illegal aliens who
Right.
happen to live aboard Camp Lejeune or downtown Jacksonville, right?
Mhm.
So why not just, you don't have to be contiguous, obviously. You don't have to have these districts, wards, and whatever. You could take a little bit of this place, a little bit of that place, and spread out all of those people aboard Camp Lejeune who do not vote and put them in different wards.
Well, the way I look at it too,
it
and
was done for a reason, and you know it.
you bring up a very good point, because what I would have done with Lejeune is, okay, it runs like this. I would have taken this section of it and thrown it over here in Northeast, in that district, in that area there. I would have taken probably this part of it and thrown it over here into another
You
area.
just add a little bit of of that
Right.
whole area, what is now listed as Camp Lejeune. Take it and split it up.
I
and give it
understand
to
why they
all.
did what they did, but
I don't. I understand why
But-
they did it too, and it was wrong.
and take the bottom section of it, like Twyla Terrace and all that, throw that into Jacksonville 01.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's
Shenanigans.
very, very hard. And it all just, you're right. It's hard because you've got a whole big voting area. You have to count the voters. You have to count the people who live there, but yet most of them don't vote. Right now, municipal elections, if we have 1,500 people come out and vote, that'll be great. They're very low voter turnout.
There'll
I'm
be a
hoping this year.
higher percentage of the voters who live in Northwoods will vote than
West
than-
Northwoods and East
than-
Commons.
than in the
In
Ward
Commons,
1.
yes.
Anybody want to put any money on that?
No, it's
I'll go take out a
proven
loan to put the money
results.
on it.
It's
I'll pay
proven
you the second
results.
Tuesday of next week if you win.
Hey, here's a crazy story for you, Rayford. Vermont teacher Melissa Martin, 47, pleaded
She's
not
changing
guilty
the subject.
Tuesday. Yeah, we're getting away from politics. To charges of cocaine possession and reckless endangerment after she was found with the drug while at work.
Is she a Democrat?
The substitute teacher allegedly mistook a student for her dog after getting high on cocaine. Yeah, she's got to be Democrat. Local law enforcement was summoned to the Vermont primary school on the morning of October 1st following reports of an adult under the influence of drugs.
What did
Now,
that student actually look like?
Mistook one of her students for a dog.
That was an
That wasn't
ugly
it.
student. At
That wasn't it.
least it was a dog, not a jackass.
Wow.
For her
I
dog.
mean,
How did she get to school that day?
She had some good stuff, didn't she?
well, they found the powder on her when they searched
Yeah, but
her.
how did she get to school? Did she drive?
She could have
Or
Ubered. I
maybe she
don't know.
flew.
Didn't go into that, but well, there probably is. Let me see. What were the charges? No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say anything about how she got to school.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
910
Could you imagine?
3330 139.
Not only is she high on drugs, she mistook one of her students for a dog.
Or dog. Come here,
Come here,
Spot.
Bear. Come here. Is that crazy?
I wasn't calling you, shoot, but it's all right. You come.
Come here, Bob.
This is a dog.
This
This
is
is a student.
Well, maybe it all depends.
And tonight, convicted child killer and rapist Brian Frederick Jennings, 66, is scheduled to die by lethal injection.
Too good for him.
Yes. Well, you know what? This will mark the 35th execution right now for Florida. Florida's currently leading the nation in executions for 2025, which has seen 35 people executed across the U.S. so far.
If you
this
run
year.
out Florida, we have 122 in North
Yep.
Carolina.
Yeah.
We can ship them on down to
Yeah.
you. Can you? If North Carolina's, our legislature cannot get off the pot and get the job
I
done.
think
Oh,
they're
I'll tell you
beating,
what,
I think they're
Florida
beating
does that.
Texas.
All
now.
you've got to do is change the policy, as we heard in here
Right,
yesterday.
yes, that's
All you
right.
got to do is change the method of execution. Give them the option. They have the option now,
Right.
but make that effective. Come up with a due date, and to come up with another form of execution. Now, the way it is currently written, after this new legislation, that any neighboring states, their method of execution can be adopted
Mm-hmm.
by it and chosen by an inmate. Now, I just wonder if do we have to do the executing in North Carolina, or can we ship it out to another state that let's say they got the firing squad. South Carolina's got the firing squad, right?
I think so.
Yes, I do believe so.
Didn't they
see.
just execute one with the firing squad?
Let me look real
Okay.
quick.
Check that. But if South Carolina's got the firing squad, we can furnish the bullets.
I'd rather have the injection.
We can, if we want to pay them to do it, it's okay. Just furnish the bullets and pay the shooters, and just do it.
I mean, that's why we went to the injection to start with, to make people quit fussing about the chair.
Yeah.
And now they're
After
fussing
Bundy
about
fried
it.
a little bit.
Mm.
I just always, my laugh was, why would you swab his arm to keep from getting infected? I mean,
Yeah, there's always a funny.
Yes, they
yeah,
do.
it is. I always just said that.
What?
Yeah, they have the firing squad. Yes, they have the firing squad
Okay.
in South Carolina.
So we can, and right now they're given 100. If they choose, they're coming up on their execution date, and they say, "I don't want to be injected. I don't want lethal injection." Well, then your choice is one of the surrounding states, other forms of execution. South Carolina's got firing squad. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Now, some of these guys, like you're talking about right there, this child predator, this scumbucket, like some individuals we've seen and dealt with and whatever. At least they need to give each one of those shooters 2 bullets. The first one doesn't count. And they should use that as an aiming point to zero the rifle and start shooting for the knees, and you work your way up. All 5 shooters. And then you could put a real bullet in.
Yeah.
Except for one gun. One gun
one
carries a
gun.
wax bullet.
Right.
Well, let me tell you, South Carolina, not only do they have the firing squad, but they had the lethal injection and the electric chair.
Right.
Zip.
Whew.
Electricity is expensive. I just got another bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened to the power? Did we have a short somewhere?
He paid it. I mean, shouldn't have.
Not me. Them.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't be making light of it. It's a sad
Did you
thing.
not
but-
make it what of it?
You're on Duke, right? Yeah. You're on Duke.
Light of it.
Yes.
Oh, that was a charged one, Rayford. All right, don't forget, County Fair opens tonight, 9:00 in just a few minutes. I'm going to post it on our page.
For,
You can watch it straight from our page.
for
The,
all you members of the Youngsville Amateur Radio Club, there is a meeting tonight at 7:00. The officers will be elected or reelected. Board of directors will be elected or reelected. So if you don't want to be elected or selected, you might want to show up and decline the opportunity, because people like me might put your name on the ballot. I move that yada, yada, yada. Lee, you're going to be there. I think Lee needs to be.
Nope.
If you ain't there, you can't refuse.
I'll be
Decline.
there to refuse.
So
Need
anyway,
anymore.
that meeting is tonight at the Onslow Amateur Radio Club meeting, and it's going to be at the Commons there in the
EOC.
EOC. I couldn't remember those letters.
Ah.
Emergency Operations Center. It's the place with the big tall tower.
You know, speaking of Chamber of Commerce, they're having their oyster roast November 6th.
Yep.
At the Marina Cafe.
Oh, really?
We got to go. We have to go.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
The Morning.
Yeah, we're having
Cafe.
a voluntary ag district meeting today at 3:30 in room 111 at the Oliver County Tax Office. Anybody wants to attend?
Too close to
We got
the
another
Texas.
oyster roast here in Onslow County coming up, and it's going to be
Yes.
down it's a fundraiser for a really cool cause, and we'll talk about that too. And
Yes.
so that's coming up.
We need to
gotta
get
get the man
Laurette in soon to talk about all the upcoming things. We have the Christmas parade.
We have the Veterans Parade coming up the 8th of
Veterans
November
Parade.
too, y'all.
Yes, that's
Are
right.
we doing it? We just need to use your truck.
I've been asking you if you
Well,
want
let's
to
just do it. Let's go ahead and say we will be in the Veterans Day Parade.
Then I'll have to fill out paperwork today and send it up.
Fill that out. This
Yes.
doesn't cost us anything.
Nope.
And because we don't make anything, so
Nope.
we may as well enter something that's free. We'll get some flags and
We have everything. Right
maybe
here.
if I could get my go to the cedar chest and pull out. I don't even think my cap will fit anymore. I know it won't. My little
Why?
sailor cap. for the
Heads
Coast Guard.
don't grow.
Huh?
People get big headed.
Yes, they do.
I mean, once you reach your adult years,
Some things
You
grow.
think I was
Better?
an adult when I was in the Coast Guard?
you'll
No,
have to pull it out and check and see.
it won't. I've already tried.
Speaking of
years
Coast
ago.
Guard, we have just
It's a
completed
new one.
the works at the U.S. Coast Guard at Fort Macon. Our
Wow.
company is officially have got it all the new piping
Very nice.
Yay.
complete, and we are out of
Right
there.
on.
Thank God. Go Coast Guard.
Go Coasties! Bring it on.
Where are you
Go
at?
Coast Guard.
Okay, we got to check
Okay.
the status of that young man who disappeared over a week ago
Yes, yes.
while trying to
yes.
swim ashore
We
during
did.
rough water. I have not heard one word since then,
No.
and I don't know whether it's been a recovery or not. But that's obviously
It's
what it
very
is
sad.
now. Very, very, very sad. So we need to. Who was that? North Topsail Beach was the leading agency.
Yes.
Okay, we'll check. Okay, we will see you tomorrow morning. We have Dr. Rose and we have Peter Wright. Mr. Wright for you ladies out there. Mr. Wright. Peter L. Wright.
His duties officially
I don't know
start
what his
tomorrow,
I don't
too.
know what his initials are, but I'll call him Peter Love Wright.
Got to get
It's,
to him.
I have it, but I'll have to open my email. So I don't know.
Blah, blah,
Maybe
blah,
it's-
blah, blah. Blah blah
Oh,
blah.
anyway, okay.
You don't know what you were saying?
No, I was gonna say it was PJB, but he doesn't have a B in his name.
His last
Peanut
name
butter
is
jelly.
His name is Wright.
Right. Yeah. Should be
Right.
with a W.
Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. You're gonna make me look now.
I think it's Peter Love Wright.
Uh,
We'll see you in the
Okay.
morning. You're
Peter.
live and local, real talk.
PLW.
We are always awake, unfortunately, and never awoke.
Yep.
Fortunately.
It's
Bye.
PJB Wright.
PJB. Right.